Hello and welcome back to Gemma Movie Recap channel. Today we're going to tell you the storyline of an action thriller and mystery movie titled Jolt, from the year 2021. The movie tells the story of a woman named Lindy Lewis. Lindy has a rare condition that causes her emotions to quickly peak and become fiery, with her outlets being irrational. She was just about to become a normal person, however, seeking revenge for the sudden death of her lover became a terrifying trigger for her. And so, without further ado, sit tight and enjoy watching. Most of the time, Lindy seems quite normal, but deep within her DNA, she possesses a hidden talent that sets her apart from ordinary people. One day, a doctor diagnoses Lindy with explosive intermittent disorder, in which she experiences uncontrollable outbursts of anger whenever provoked, even by the slightest triggers. She can't live safely in the world, and no one is safe around her. Large amounts of cortisol hormones flow through Lindy's body, boosting her adrenaline, speed, and strength beyond that of an average person. This makes her highly appealing to certain parties, even turning her into a subject for research experiments. They even attempted military training on her, but the results were far from satisfactory. In fact, it worsened her situation as she ended up beating up her military trainers. Lindy has tried military training, yoga, meditation, extreme sports, wrestling, and much more. However, so far, only one brutal, ruthless, and extreme treatment seems to offer a chance of recovery. One evening in the middle of the city, a beautifully dressed Lindy is getting ready for a date with a man named Justin. In front of the restaurant, Lindy witnesses a customer berating an employee, and this nearly triggers her to lash out at the man. However, Lindy presses a button on her hand to control her anger. She then meets Justin inside the restaurant. In truth, Lindy wanted to cancel the date, but out of pity, she eventually placed an order with the waiter. Unfortunately, the waiter deliberately behaves rudely and disrupts their first date. Once again, Lindy tries to suppress her emotions. Later, Lindy goes to the restroom, where she overhears the waiter talking about how she ruined someone's first date. Lindy attempts to control her anger by pressing the button on her hand again, but unfortunately, her rage doesn't subside. Eventually, Lindy knocks out the waiter, then leaves Justin alone as she departs from the scene. Lindy returns to her apartment, and it turns out that under her clothes, she's wearing an electrode vest connected to the button on her hand, designed to deliver electric shocks whenever her anger flares up. This device is what has helped her to function more like a typical human. The next day, Lindy visits the psychiatrist who designed the vest. He is an underground doctor named Dr. Munchin. Lindy tells him that the vest is malfunctioning, which is why the restaurant waiter became its unintended victim the previous night. However, upon examination, it turns out the device isn't broken. It's Lindy's increasing anger that the shock isn't able to control. Dr. Munchin then increases the voltage on the vest and explains that the vest is not a cure. It's simply a tool to manage her anger. He suggests that Lindy should form a serious, loving, and caring relationship with someone, which may support her healing process. Feeling nauseated, Lindy promptly leaves Dr. Munchin's office and seeks out Justin to apologize for the previous day's incident. During their conversation, Justin manages to make Lindy like him, and he suggests that they get intimate. Suddenly, Lindy becomes scared, and she has vivid imaginings of hurting Justin. However, Justin reassures and calms Lindy, and they proceed. The following day, Lindy wakes up to find Justin getting ready for work. Justin gives her a camera as a gift before leaving and promises another date at his place in the evening. This deepens Lindy's affection for Justin. Later, Lindy goes to see Dr. Munchin to tell him that she's healed and recounts her experiences with Justin. Dr. Munchin advises her not to jump to conclusions because Lindy has a penchant for violence. Lindy, however, pays no heed and leaves. She enjoys her new camera, relishing the moment. Night falls, and Lindy prepares for another date with Justin, but he doesn't communicate with her. Lindy calls Justin, but a detective named Detective Vickers from the Homicide Division answers the phone. Detective Vickers informs Lindy that Justin has been murdered. Lindy, not being part of Justin's family, isn't allowed to see him. Their relationship was only a few days old, so she doesn't know much about him. Lindy is deeply affected by Justin's death, and her hopes of recovery from her condition seem even more remote. Dr. Munchin reluctantly sedates Lindy to prevent her from tormenting herself. When she regains consciousness, Lindy explains all the problems she's facing. Lindy plans to find the person who killed Justin, ignoring Munchin's warnings. She arranges to meet with Vickers at a certain location, but it's just a ruse. As Vickers departs, Lindy sneaks into the evidence storage room and takes Justin's phone and ID. Then she goes to Justin's place. This makes Lindy a fugitive, as she's seen as attempting to obstruct the investigation. A female detective named Nevin is present to apprehend Lindy, but Lindy strikes her and escapes in Justin's car. Lindy's adrenaline surges as she drives the car at high speeds, leading to Vickers struggling to catch up and a resulting accident. In the morning, Lindy approaches a female hacker and asks her to examine Justin's phone. The hacker explains that most of the data has been deleted from the phone, but there are the last 7 calls that originated from the city center. The calls were from someone named Barry Kaspersky, a highly dangerous arms-dealing mafia. Without hesitation, Lindy goes to Barry's location, which also happens to be an illegal fighting arena. Boldly, Lindy interrupts an ongoing fight and confronts Barry about Justin's murder. Barry, however, imposes a condition. Lindy must be able to defeat 3 of Barry's fighters simultaneously. As Lindy's abilities are put to the test, she accepts the challenge. With brutality, Lindy takes down all 3 of Barry's fighters. Following this, Barry agrees to lead Lindy to the person responsible for Justin's murder. However, it turns out that Barry was lying. Lindy swiftly takes down Barry and his henchmen in their car. Lindy tortures Barry by shocking his balls to make him confess. When his balls are almost fried, Barry finally reveals that the person who killed Justin is his boss, Gareth Fizzle. Lindy then visits Detective Vickers, who is being treated in the hospital. She requests information about Gareth Fizzle and his whereabouts. Vickers informs her that Fizzle is an extremely dangerous, wealthy mafia figure. Nobody dares to cross him, not even the FBI and CIA. Suddenly, Nevin arrives and attempts to arrest Lindy. Lindy strikes Nevin and runs away, leading to a chase in the hospital. However, Lindy becomes trapped in the neonatal intensive care unit, and she is forced to throw a baby to divert Nevin's attention before managing to escape. Lindy then goes to the tower where Fizzle is located. Inside, a guard tries to stop her, but one of Fizzle's henchmen takes Lindy to see Fizzle. However, inside the elevator, the man unexpectedly knocks Lindy unconscious. When Lindy regains consciousness, she finds herself tied up and her vest removed. In order to save her life, the man strikes a deal with Lindy that she won't return. Finally, Lindy is escorted home without her vest. However, on the way, she immediately attacks the driver and makes her escape. Meanwhile, the henchman informs Gareth Fizzle that a woman was looking for him earlier. Fizzle promptly orders his henchmen to find and kill Lindy. Elsewhere, Lindy visits Dr. Munchin and asks for a spare vest. Upon returning home, Lindy notices something suspicious about her door. She enters her apartment through the window and discovers that her door has been rigged with a bomb by one of Fizzle's henchmen. Lindy takes the bomb and prepares to detonate her apartment using the stove and microwave. Downstairs, Lindy gets into Vickers' car and asks him to hold onto her camera. Vickers considers arresting Lindy, but she evades capture and tells him that there is something she must do. She promises to turn herself in once she's finished and explains the vest she's wearing. Suddenly, Lindy's apartment explodes and she seizes the opportunity to escape. In the evening, Lindy climbs the skyscraper owned by Fizzle. However, she is caught by one of Fizzle's henchmen once she reaches the top. Lindy is then brought before Fizzle, who turns out to be a sadist with a penchant for collecting and preserving animals. Fizzle confesses to killing Justin and orders his henchmen to prepare Lindy for preservation soon after. Her blood is being drained from her body. However, shortly after, Lindy goes into a frenzy and overpowers the man, making her escape. Inside the building, Lindy is confronted by several of Fizzle's henchmen, but she easily defeats them all. She then uses one of the henchmen's severed fingers to unlock a door, only to discover that Fizzle has already been killed. Shortly after, Fizzle's killer emerges from the darkness, and it turns out to be none other than Justin. This revelation leaves Lindy shocked, as Justin turns out to be a CIA agent who exploited Lindy's abilities to hunt down Fizzle. They'd also financed Dr. Munchin's research to create Lindy's vest. Angry and wanting to attack Justin, Lindy is held at bay by the button on her vest that Justin possesses. Justin then proceeds to torture Lindy, taunting her. Lindy's anger becomes uncontrollable, causing her to no longer feel the effects of her vest. She then throws a bomb at Justin, ultimately killing him. Then, Lindy confronts Dr. Munchin, who had betrayed her. Suddenly, the detective arrives and is forced to shoot Lindy in the leg to prevent her emotions from erupting. Dr. Munchin is ultimately arrested for practicing medicine without a license. In the hospital, Detectives Vickers and Nevin interrogate Lindy, but they seem to protect her from legal consequences. Because it is thanks to Lindy, Gareth Fizzle, the legally untouchable wealthy mafia figure, is finally dead. After feeling better, Lindy gives her camera to a homeless person on the street, She then returns to her apartment and packs her remaining belongings. Suddenly, a woman arrives, who is a CIA member who has been researching Lindy since she was a child. It seems that she also wants to exploit Lindy's abilities, and thus, the movie finally ends. So, what do you think of this movie? Did you enjoy the recap? Hit the like button if you liked it, subscribe if you loved it, and feel free to share this content with your friends and family as well, and drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Any constructive feedback is highly appreciated. Kindly check out our channel to find even more movie recaps of your liking, and don't forget to ring the notifications bell to stay updated with our future videos. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos.